Shalom! This is Yair that we speaking to you from the land of Israel. Today we are about to discuss a new book that we have just published. We hope you will order it. It's worthwhile. You can get it from our websites. It's an important book. It's a new book. It talks about the Hebrew origins of the English language. The English language. Now, we speak English. Or we try to. We speak our own version of English that some people have difficulty in understanding, but we do our best. So the English language, as you all know, is a composite language. It's not a pure language. It's a language that's been put together. It is with different layers superimposed upon it. Originally there were Celtic peoples in the Britain, in the British Isles. They spoke different types of Celtic tongues, which actually did have a Hebrew substratum, as has been proven by linguistics, as has been proven by linguists. But even so, the Angles and Saxons and the Jutes and other peoples from Northern Europe, from Holland, from Scandinavia, from Northern Germany, they came and they conquered England, and they imposed their languages on the inhabitants. And they spoke different types of so-called Germanic dialects. We do not think that they were Germans. They were not related to the Germans, to the modern-day Germans to a great degree. But they spoke a similar tongue, and we have spoken about this on other occasions. In the meantime, from a linguistic point of view, they had these languages, these dialects that they brought with them, and they imposed them upon the peoples they conquered. And this is what they spoke. Sometime later, about 400 years, a little bit more later, the Normans from France, who actually are Scandinavians, this shows how languages change incidentally. The Normans were people from Scandinavia, mainly from Norway, also from Denmark. They came down and they conquered a portion of France, of Western France, which was called Normandy after them, and they received the area. And they were the dominant entity in that region that they received. And even so, they adopted the language of the people amongst whom they were settling. They spoke a type of French. And after a couple of generations, they were no longer able to communicate with other peoples from Scandinavia. They could only speak French. And not long afterwards, they conquered England, and they imposed French on the native inhabitants, on the English-speaking peoples. In other words, they had not been speaking French so long themselves, but they adopted it as their native tongue, and then they passed it on to other people. So this is how languages move, that a language does not necessarily define an ethnicity. It does not necessarily define a people. It does not make a folk of people who they are, but it does have influence, and there are reasons to it. It does influence the character of the nations. It has something of cultural importance to it, and it did have importance in creating the English language, because from out of that combination, that conglomeration, emerged the English tongue, and they also accepted other words and expressions from different peoples, from different areas, and it evolved, and so we have the English language. And even so, even though English is a composite tongue, comprised of different layers, different types of speaking, different schools of expression, one could say, it is necessary, nevertheless, it is Hebraic to a degree. It has a Hebraic words, and it has a lot of Hebrew words in it. It has Hebrew ways of expressing itself. It has Hebraic thought patterns. And that is what this book comes to point out by taking several different examples and showing them and describing them, and also word lists of words derived from Hebrew so that the reader can judge for himself. And this is what we have. There's a strong Hebrew element in English. A lot of words and other characteristics of the English language show parallelism to Hebrew. And some of these Hebraisms, some of these Hebraic mode of thoughts, these Hebraic words that may be traced to Anglo-Saxon sources, others to French sources, others to Celtic sources, others don't know where they came from. They suddenly appeared without explanation. Even so, they all have Hebraic qualities, more than the parent languages did, which shows that there's an underlying subconscious element, a linguistic soul, one could say, a prototype, a Hebraic prototype according to which the Hebrew language left its impress upon the English-speaking, what became the English-speaking peoples, and they developed the English language according to this Hebrew prototype that existed within them. And this might sound fanciful, it might sound a little bit exaggerated, difficult to accept, but it's here. The proofs are here, or some of the proofs and indications are here, and you can judge for yourselves, and even if you're not convinced, you will see there's definitely something there. There's a Hebrew input in the Hebrew and English language, and we come to this, to what we deal with. We deal with proving that the Lost 10 tribes settled amongst the British peoples and also peoples of Western Europe, and therefore also the offshoots of these peoples in North America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. All of these peoples have input from the Hebrew ancestry of their forefathers who were from the Lost 10 tribes of Israel. And this book proves it, and you can say that if these elements from the Hebrew language are proven to be in the English-speaking tongues, in the tongues of the English-speaking people, so too must you accept the feasibility, at least, of physical Hebrews also being with them. We'll just give a few examples now of Hebrew words with English antecedents, just to give you a taste of what there is or what there may be. We'll start off with B. We have the word baby. Baby. What is a baby? A baby is an infant, it's a young child of either sex. In Old English it was baban. And in Hebrew we have baba. Baba, what is baba? Baba is a small object, a precious jewel. The pupil of your eye is baba. We have the English word baby. We also have the English word bad, something which is bad. In Hebrew means something which is false, which is an imposturing, something which is not correct. That is bad in Hebrew. We also have the word bear, B-A-R-E. In Hebrew we have the word bear, which means to devour, to graze animals on an area, to make it bare, as in English. And we have the word bosh in Hebrew, which means ashamed, or to be ashamed, bosh. And so too we have the word bashful, someone who is shy. He's ashamed, as if to say, or he acts as if he is ashamed. And we have numerous words like this. We have in every letter of the alphabet, we have numerous words which prove that they have some connection to the Hebrew language. We have the word rake. Rake in English means a rakel, a person who is immoral. And in Hebrew we have the word reka, which means a sinful person. We have the word in English room, R-O-O-M, meaning from Old English, meaning space. In Hebrew we have the word rom, or room, also meaning space or height. In English we have the word team. Team is a group of people working together. And in Hebrew we have the word TM. TM means coordination, to coordinate, which is what a team does. In English we have the word or this, or that. So too in Hebrew we have the word or, which is similar and also meaning all. And we have numerous words, we have hundreds of words, and a list of them is available in this work with the Hebrew words and the English word one alongside the other, written out in English lettering, and with an explanation of its meaning so that you can see for yourself. And this work is very important because it proves our case It proves that the English-speaking peoples, to some degree at least, are descended from the Hebrew ancestors, The Hebrew ancestors gave rise to them. It proves it, and it not only does it prove it, or provides additional proof to the numerous sources of evidence that we have, from biblical sources, from rabbinical sources, from archaeological evidence, from historical sources, mythology, from all the different sources that we have put together and talked about in previous talks and previous books and articles that we have put out. This adds another facet to it, another field of evidence, one could say, a supplementary area of endeavour, which also is important in its own right. And this shows the probability and the feasibility of Hebrews having been amongst the ancestors of English-speaking peoples, and how they got there and what they were doing there and who actually they were. So this can be debated. We have answers, we have provided answers, and the proofs that we bring in this work show, at the very least, that answers are what are needed. Answers is what are needed because the evidence exists. May the Lord God of Israel bless you. Thank you.